What's up, guys? We are back. Fitness Profit Multiplier, Anthony and Jimmy. Today, I'm asking you a question today. I'm not going to be talking about anything crazy here. I'm just going to start out with this question. Why are you still working when you should be at home with insert kids, wife, girlfriend, mom, dad, cat, dog? Why are you not with them? Why are you still working? Why are you still at work? I love this topic because, listen, if you're a stage 0, stage 1 gym owner, level 1, whatever you want to call it, and you just opened up your facility, you're just starting out, you should be at work all the time. It's a little different. But once I would say about 2 years into your journey, if you're still doing everything and you're not at home or with your loved ones, spending time with your loved ones, there's a huge problem there. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I don't know if your cat really cares if you're at the gym still, but other than that, what are you?
Your dog definitely does.
Your dog definitely does, but your cat probably doesn't give a shit. Other than your cat, all those other beings in your life care deeply about spending time with you, and you didn't get into this business to slave away with clients all hours of the day. You got into this business to have a little bit more freedom. So if you're not an early stage person, like Anthony said, because the early stages we all know are it's relatively unavoidable unless you have deeper pockets to be the 70-hour work week guy in the beginning. But 18 months or so, 2 years maybe, that's as long as that's going to last. And then why are you not home with your kids? Why are you staying at the gym later? Why are you doing all the things that we're going to just start to dive into? Why are you continuing to train people on the floor late at night? Why are you not relinquishing your sales responsibilities to somebody new? Why are you not training your staff? Why are you not delegating things that you know you could delegate? Why are you not gaining freedom from your business in addition to income from your business? Because as a business owner, you have that ultimate freedom in those decisions to make. What is holding you back from really spending those precious moments with the people that you care about? What is holding you back from it? And when we look at what's holding you back from it, for the most part, is the ability to let go is really what we look at. And we all struggle with it.
You took the words right out of my mouth. And, I'm sure someone listening to this is like, well, because I want to make more money. But the thing that's holding you back here is the fact that you think you're the best at everything in your business. That is a big, big problem, because if you think you're the best salesperson, if you think you're the best trainer, how is anyone ever going to replace you? So then your business is totally reliant on you. And I want you to kind of think about this. This is one of my fears. So I'm going to talk about my fears here, and hopefully the analogy that I give you resonates with you and makes you think about it constantly. One of my biggest fears when I was training by myself and growing my business was, what happens if, God forbid, broke my leg? What happens? Who's going to do everything? How am I going to train people? So I repose that question to you listening to this. What happens if, God forbid, you break your leg? What are you going to do? Or worse, you never know what can happen. You get into a bad car accident, God forbid. Again, all these things are hypothetical, God forbid questions. I don't want that to happen to you. But if something was to happen to you, a family member got sick that was out of the country and you had to go to them, what do you do? That is a huge, huge problem. And Jimmy said this on a couple other episodes, but it's almost like you have to pretend that you bought a franchise. Let's say we go with the sandwich franchise. You bought a sandwich franchise. Your goal is to make as much money with that franchise as possible, not to make the best sandwiches. Like, the franchise may make good sandwiches, but it's not your job to make the sandwiches. It's the same thing in your fitness business, because the people in your life depend on you to be there all the time for things. Like, for example, my kids, we'll go down the kids rabbit hole for a second. I want to go to my kids plays and sporting events. I want to be present at that. Heck, I want to be home for dinner. I want to be able to sit down and have dinner with my kids every night and not, oh, running to the gym, running home from the gym. I have a client now, somebody canceled. I want to be home. I want to be turned off by 5 o'clock. I want to be able, you only get a certain amount of time with your kids. When they're younger, you only get a certain time frame. And nothing is worth more than that time frame. Not even money, not even your business, because you're never going to get that back. So I posed the question to you. If God forbid something happens to you, what are you going to do?
And what does a franchise do? What does another business do? Their head salesperson gets super sick or takes a vacation or leaves the company or whatever. The owner doesn't jump in and do it. They hire somebody else to train up to take on that role. So if you think about it in that way, it's not one of these things where we are jumping back in and we are taking this on. And every now and then, to save your business, you may have to do that in the beginning stages. But when you grow your business bigger and somebody leaves, you're looking to replace that person or have people in the wings waiting to replace that person over time. So a franchise, a sandwich shop, is not going to have the owner jump in and manage a facility when a manager leaves, right? Let's take a Subway, for example. You got a manager, you got a bunch of part-timers, your manager's full-time, and you got maybe one other full-timer and a bunch of part-timers that are making kids, whatever. And our quality of service is a little bit higher than a high school kid, right? We have more training involved. There's more certifications that are needed. There's extra skills that are necessary for the certain roles that we have in our businesses. But we take this example, and one of your high schoolers leaves because they're going to college or whatever. You don't jump in and start making sandwiches as the owner. You bring the next part-timer up to full-time, or you find another person and train them up and get them trained by the people that are doing the work. You don't even train them to do what they're doing. Your staff trains them to do what they're doing. Your manager leaves, what do? You promote somebody up to manager that knows the system and knows what's going on, or you bring somebody in from outside that has run other facilities or whatever, or you split the time with a manager, you split them between a couple of different ones. You ask other people in the franchise to bring people over to your franchise because they know the system. These are the things that you do. You don't jump back in as an owner to make sandwiches again. It's just not how it works. In the beginning, sure, like if we look at a Chick-fil-A franchise, right, which is not exactly structured as a franchise, which is interesting how they structure it, but that person has to have a certain amount of years of being able to do the stuff. And then they hire out people to do all the other things and manage them and have their staff. So you have to first let go of your preconceived notions about you being the best trainer, as Anthony touched on. You are not the best. You may be good, but the likelihood that we've touched on other podcasts, the likelihood of you being the best trainer ever is actually low when you think about the averages. Your likelihood to find somebody and train them up to be 80% as good as you is actually really high. So the probability of it is high that you can get somebody to be 80% as good at your system as you are. You may even find that some of your employees are better at certain things than you are, which is commonplace. Anthony and I can't speak for Anthony, but he probably would agree with me on this. There are certain tasks at the gym that my staff are better at than I am. They care more, they pay attention more, they are more timely on certain tasks. There aren't other things in their minds that are clouding their ability to execute their job. Whereas as an owner, you have a lot of hats that you wear and a lot of things that you think about. So it clouds your ability to do everything to the best of your ability. But when you have a full-time trainer that all they're doing is training people, maybe a little bit of admin here and there, they're solely focused on that training. They're not focused on growing the business. They're not focused on sales and marketing. They're not focused on what the lease is like or changing a payment process so you can save money. They're not thinking about any of that stuff. They're not thinking about profit margin. They're just thinking about how do I give the best service possible to this individual, which means that their attentional focus is better than yours. So they're better than you. So don't think that they're not as good because you think that you're better or you can't let go. And this is a emotional, mental thing that you have to wrestle with and realize you got to delegate, you got to let go, and you got to treat your business like it's one of many, even if it's just one. Treat it like it's one of many. Because when you treat it that way, you find freedom in the business, and communicate that to your staff. I communicate that to my staff all the time. I say, I'm not doing this anymore. I fired myself from this role. You guys have to do it without me. And they step up and they do it. If you don't communicate that, they're going to expect you to be a component of the staff. And you have to communicate that to your people regularly and get yourself to a point where you can actually find freedom. Because we're not just in this business for money and profit. We're in this business for profit, growth, and freedom.
I'm going to end it here. I want to say one thing. This is why it's so important to grow your business. This is why it's so important to grow your business beyond the grasp that you can hold it, because your loved ones, whoever that may be, insert girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, insert that, they deserve your time and you deserve it. So this is why it's so important to spend the time to grow your business the right way so you can have freedom to do the things that you need to and be there for the people that you need in your life. Until next time, guys, we'll see you on the next one.